Hi, happy double tens day. We'll celebrate the double tens day by study math, right? This video is to review imaginary number I. Okay, okay. This is me. Yes, I was an honor guard, and 10 years ago I was one of them walking in front of the here. Yeah. All right. Um, So before we start, I want to ask you one question. Do you know why 10 plus 10 equals 11 plus 11? Why? 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 Because 10 plus 10 is 20, and 11 plus 11 is 22. So that way, okay. Okay, never mind. All right. Um, well, imagine number with it is I, right? I is square root of -1. Okay. So before you see a negative value in a square root, for example, -10, the teacher will tell you this is undefined. However, from now on, this is not undefined anymore. We define as an I. And we try to convert everything, every negative value into the form with I. How can we do that? So like this, if we see negative square root of -10, I will divide this into the product of two separate square root, two separate square root. Okay, of course I can write -2 and 5 still equal root of -10, but I want to see -1. So I will use 10 root 10 times root square root of -1. By doing this, this part square root of -1 become I. So that would be square root of 10 I. Okay. Okay, this is a very important step. Okay, so you can turn the negative sign inside the square root, become I. So whenever you see it like -3, okay, there will be square root of 3I. If you see uh, negative a half, right, there will be square root of a half and then I. You just turn the negative into I. Okay. And then when we do the operation for the imaginary I, number I, just like the variable x. For example, we want to multiply 1 plus 2x times 3 minus 4x. Okay, we cannot combine 1 and 2x because 1 is like a constant, 2x is a variable. We cannot combine these two terms. So we'll do the big rainbow, small rainbow, like this, and then this, and then this, and then this. All right? Okay, first, 1 times 3 give you 3. Second, yellow one, 1 times 4x give you plus a negative 4x. And then the red one, 2x plus 3 plus 6x. And lastly, 2x times -4x, it is negative 8x square, all right? Because there's x times x is square. So when we do the operation for I exactly the same. So if I change this into I, it will be exactly the same thing. So this is become I, this is become I, this is this become I. Right? The only difference is before we see x squared, we just leave it x squared. But here we see I squared. I squared, it will be square root of -1 multiply square root of -1. It is -1. Okay, so this one you have to turn into -1. All right. So the -a become +a. Right. So that will be 3 minus 4i plus 6i and then plus 8. All right, then we combine the real part is 3 and 8, and that would be 11, and combine the imaginary part, that will be -4 plus 6 is plus 2i. This is our answer for that. All right, and then for extension, I want to explain. You might not see this in our exam, but I want to explain. If you see I a cube, there will be I squared multiply I, right? So there will be -1 times I. Just like you see x, -1 times x become -x. So this, if you see -1 times I, just -I. How about I to the power 4? Okay, that will be I squared times I squared. We know I squared is -1. So there will be -1 multiply -1 give you 1. All right. So I itself equal I. And then I squared will be -1. And then I cube, there will be -I. And then I to the power 4, it is 1. So, and then I to the power 5 equal I again, because there will be I to the power 5 is I to the power 4 multiply I. I4 is 1. So it's 1 times I, still I, right? So I6 is -1. And I to the power 7 is -I. And then I to the power 8 will be 1. All right? So they will keep this repeating the same pattern. So I9, there will be I. And then I10, there will be -1. I11, -I. I12 equals 1. Okay, so this is why in the class I say if you see I to the power, for example, x, you use x divide by 4, okay, you will get a number and get a remainder. Okay, if no remainder 0, okay, remainder 0, then the answer is 1. 1, because 4 divided by 4, no remainder, so 1. 8 divided by 4, no remainder, 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3, no remainder, so there will be 1. Okay. If the remainder is 1, then it is I. This is this row, okay, like 159. 5 divided by 4 is 1, remainder is 1. So remainder is 1, that will be I. 9 divided by 4 is 2, remainder 1, and is I. Okay. And then if the remainder is 2, then this row is -1. And if the remainder is 3, then it's -I. All right. So I think, yes, this 2.1, 2.2, basically the most important is how to do the operation. Yeah, just addition and subtraction, I think is quite easy, right? Let's just do a quick example. Minus 5 minus 7i. Okay, like this. So first of all, I want to remove the brackets. So 1 plus 2i minus 5. Negative become positive, plus 7i. All right, so this part is the real part. So combine 1 and -5 become -4. And 2i plus 7i is plus 9i. That's it. Okay, so 2.1, 2.2. I think it's not too difficult. So if you have any questions, yeah, just let me know. Press like, subscribe, okay? And the bell. Press the bell. Okay. See you next time. Have a long, happy double 10th day.